This is KIC Radio.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the South Bank podcast. I'm once again joined by Sami and Cameron Gorman, and it's been a fair few weeks since our last podcast, so we'd like to wish you all, I hope you all had a very happy new year, very good Christmas, and happy Diwali, whatever else you are celebrating. How have you been holding up, boys? I'll start with you first, Cameron.
Well, I've been good, Jacob. Nice little hiatus from the podcast because of the winter. I'm sure we're all feeling very happy about our most recent result. I know we all have a bit of the FA Cup when we're not getting knocked out by Coventry or losing to Watford, but very nice win against Bristol, and I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Sami, how have you been the last few weeks, mate? I know you've had even farther extended break from the podcast than everyone else. So welcome back.
I know, yeah. So first off, I just want to say I apologise, guys, for not being here. I had a couple issues going on with health and stuff over here, but we're back now and we're sorted. But yeah, past couple of weeks I've been feeling nice, feeling boss. Nice to see Wolves back in winning ways again. But yeah, obviously, like Cam said, we do love an FA Cup fixture, especially when it's not against, how it was last year, winning against a quite difficult team of Brighton, but then losing to Coventry. But I'm happy with Bristol and Blackburn now, so yeah, it's all good over here, Bell.
Yeah, so it was a nice break, obviously. Last week, as we took social media instead, we did try and film a podcast, but issues out of our hands prevented us from doing so. But it's going to be a big year for everyone at South Bank Podcast. We've got a big announcement coming this week, actually, which stay tuned on our social medias for what that might be. So, but we'll start straight away as we all settle down to what a stupidly timed FA Cup clash I had on Saturday. The team news came out, and the name that really caught attention was Emmanuel Agbadu coming in for his debut, playing at the back against Bristol. Immediately, what were your thoughts? I'll start with you, Sami.
Obviously, seeing how he was at is it Stade Reims? Is it Reims?
Yeah.
How you pronounce it. It's obviously seeing how he was playing over there. He's a good centre back. He's strong as well. He knows he can hold off on the ball well. Seeing him play and make his debut against Bristol on Saturday, it was nice. It was nice to see, how he's adapting to obviously Pereira's techniques and styles, and obviously how Pereira wants him to play in that defensive role. It was nice seeing him obviously be able to show his qualities as well, and hold that ball and hold that defensive line, which ultimately I'd arguably say was one of the key things that helped us actually win that game. In all fairness, obviously having that strong defense in the back line, which I think defensively we did well. But yeah, in terms of Agbadu and obviously his first game at Wolves, I was very impressed. I was very happy to see someone that obviously we've been saying past couple of weeks on the podcast when we've been losing, like we need someone in that defence to help him out. And obviously seeing that now, you can see how well the squad's working, and obviously to get a win without our star boy Mateus Cunha as well. So it's nice to see Agbadu fitting into the system well, I'd say.
Yeah, so obviously both of you, Cam, now I know we were in the ground together obviously on Saturday, made the trip to Bristol. The trip there, the less said about it, the better, I think. Nearly didn't make it to Bristol. But we shared similar thoughts about Agbadu's performance. Some good, some bad. So interested to hear if you still hold them opinions now.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, the travel to Bristol for a stupidly timed kickoff was not great for any Wolves fans, really. A lot of Wolves fans stuck and unable to get down until a lot later than they initially planned, but luckily, most people seem to make it there for kickoff. Thank you, Birmingham New Street, for being consistently terrible with your trains. But Agbadu, to add on to what Sami said, I think it's great to have another leader in that back line. I think he was quite organised. However, like Jacob said, there were some negatives to his performance, I think. Although I don't, however, think these are down to his quality or the system or anything like that. Let's start off with Agbadu's strengths. I think he's obviously a very strong, tall centre-half, won all of his aerial battles, if I'm not mistaken. And he loves a nice diagonal ball, and you can really see where that's going to help in the system. Reminiscent of a Connor Cody, although he's obviously not playing on the correct side of the defence. Being a right-footed player, I really thought the biggest negative in Agbadou's performance was the fact he was always wrong-footed, having to play to the triangles, play into Aitnuri, who would play it back to Andre or João Gomes, who would then play it back to Agbadou. Also, he can get it in his right foot, which understandable when with Totti out, he does not want to be playing on that left side, I imagine, Agbadou. But being the natural centre half, unlike Matt Doherty, who is having to play on that right-hand spot where Agbadou will seemingly play once Totti returns from injury, he was having to have a nice at least three passes worked every time to get him onto his preferred foot. And that in the Prem will be easily exploited, I feel, in our next game, which we'll get into later. But I think it was overall a very solid debut from Agbadou. Nothing to rave and write home about, but I think he was very solid, showed his quality, and the negatives weren't really in his hands. I'm sure you'd agree, Jacob.
Yeah, so I don't think I really have much to add to that. I feel like, yeah, it was a game that he was playing on the wrong side, evidently. Almost took him 3 touches to get out of his feet. But once he did get out of his feet, obviously, like you say, those diagonal balls were lovely, reminiscent of one Connor Cody. So once he's moved over to that right-hand side when Totti comes in, that'll be something we can really use to our advantage if he can exploit getting those balls over to the likes of Gonzalo Guedes on that left wing or whoever it may be on that left wing. I do think another week in this game, I don't want to dig him out too much because he's only been in the country, 48 hours for the game. I feel like he did let the man run behind him a couple of times. I feel like a bit flat-footed, which, the first thing Vitor Pereira said to him when he got here was, you don't have 30 seconds to switch off. And I think he did a couple of times in that game. There was one particular, I remember, in the second half where Doherty had to run the whole way across the defence to cover for Agbadou because the ball had run past him. And with all due respect to Bristol City, against even Newcastle on Wednesday, against one even like Jacob Murphy, in the form he's been finding late, he will get punished for that more than he did on Saturday. But we're going to get into some very positive news now. The first 20 minutes, or the first half, actually, of this football match. Starting with Ryan Norway's goal, he had a big chance to put us ahead a few minutes before from a few yards out. A very good save by the Bristol City goalkeeper. But, first goal, was it around the 10-minute mark? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like 8th minute he had his first chance, 10th minute for the goal.
Yeah.
So João Gomes, very, very good cross from the right-hand side, and finds Aitnuri with a quite comical diving header, actually. I quite find it's almost in slow motion the way he heads it in, but puts us 1-0 up. And Cam, what have you got to say about our first goal?
Well, was obviously very happy with that goal. Like you said, he had a big first chance right before that, only a couple minutes before, on his left foot, and it was a very good save, point blank range by the goalkeeper. However, an excellent delivery from João Gomes into the box after quite a disappointing cross from a corner. And like you said, great diving header from Aitnuri. There were a lot of shouts for offside. I've seen some discussion, but after watching the replay, he was not at all. Even with VAR, we wouldn't have been suffering any fate with that's to blame. But great header. Very happy with that goal, and nice way to start off the match, really. I think it really set us in our stride for that first half, which we dominated, really. I feel like you really saw the gap in quality between a Premier League team and a Championship team. I know we're not doing too well in the Premier League this season, but even in games like Leicester versus QPR, you really see how big the gulf is in quality between the two divisions now. And I feel like that's something that's only really going to get bigger and bigger as the years go by. A lot of people talking about replays and stuff being scrapped with, like Tamworth and Tottenham being the main talking point there. You do feel like the magic of the cup's dying in sorts, but that's not going to be a complaint for us when we're going against Championship opposition. But yeah, very happy with that goal. And then another one not soon after, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, I think two things. Starting on the Tamworth side note, Sami will tell you I was very, quite I had a lot of comments about the replays being scrapped and how it isn't really fair for a side like Tamworth, who gave such a good account of themselves yesterday against Tottenham for 90 minutes, to inevitably lose on fitness and the pure quality that Spurs can bring off their bench. They brought more money off their bench in terms of free plays than Tamworth have ever earned in their entire existence in terms of revenue. So that just proves when they cut that. In terms of the offside shout, we had perfect seats for that. I thought every offside and it never looked offside to me. But Sammy, what were your thoughts on the opening 10 minutes and putting ourselves ahead for a Ryan Norley goal?
Yeah, so obviously I've got to echo on what you both said. Obviously, you know, it was a lovely cross. Well, a bit of a weird crossing from João. I never knew João could do them like little low crosses in, but you know, João Gomez, fair enough. But yeah, no, it was a nice crossing, and obviously to put us ahead in the first 10 minutes, it helped bring the momentum I saw around the Bristol City ground. And you know, it's nice to see obviously Aït-Nouri back to scoring again. And you know, the commentator was saying after the goal was scored, you know, there's no VAR in the FA Cup, so it's not going to be checked for offside or anything, like you guys have said. But like you said, like, you know, it's the FA Cup. You know, we'll be playing against some very questionable teams. Obviously, last year we had to play the likes of Brighton and then obviously Coventry. But then this season we're playing, you know, the likes of Bristol City, and we've got Blackburn away. So, you know, it's a thing with the FA Cup. You're playing different teams, you know, with different techniques and styles, not like how teams play it in the Prem. But yeah, no, obviously to put us ahead in the first 10 minutes from Aït-Nouri, it was nice and it was lovely to see. Obviously, Aït-Nouri scoring again because, you know, he is my young boy. He is my young favourite boy from at Wolves. So, yeah.
The young boy who's slowly getting older, just under
I know.
every
He's getting
single
old.
year. But speaking of young boys, but we'll get
Young
on
boys.
we'll get on to a young boy I've had stocked in for a while now, Rodrigo Gomez, who I thought was absolutely fantastic on the weekend. Gets his second goal. Gets his second goal for the club and the second goal for Wolves on Saturday after a brilliant move. Starting with Strand Larson, playing it to Guedes, who finds it inside for Gomez with the easiest finish of his life, really. I can see Cam's itching to speak about this, but I am going to go to Sami first. What are your thoughts on Gomez's performance and his goal put us 2-0 up?
Yeah, have that, Cam, mate. Obviously, it's nice to see how I don't know about you, but from me, I can see how different we play, obviously, in the FA Cup compared to how we play in the Prem. And obviously, to see us play without Cunha, obviously, before, and I saw the lineup, I was like, it's quite a very good, strong lineup. Obviously, no Cunha, no Party, like I said, well, in last week's draft before, you know, internet got cancelled or whatever. But yeah, no, obviously, it was nice. It was nice to see the build up of play. Obviously, lovely pass from Guedes into Rodrigo, and it was just an easy finish for him. You can see how much it means to the lad as well, you know, to score for this club, to, you know, the atmosphere that it brings, the passion and happiness that it brings to him and to us as well. You know, you can see what Rodrigo wants to bring to the club and wants to actually help the club. You know, there's some players at Wolves I'm not going to name, which I feel like, you know, haven't been pulling their weight, and they
Name and shame.
Name and shame. I don't know about you, but for me, I'd say Mario Lemina is obviously one of them. Obviously,
he's let himself down big time.
Yeah, very much a recent one, but it's quite unfortunate to see how he's gone downhill.
Yeah, I know. It was like, well, you know, you're gonna get them though in football, though, aren't you? You're gonna get them. You're gonna get them at every club. You know, you look at clubs at City, United, Liverpool, even Madrid and Barca, like loads and loads of big clubs. You're gonna get them everywhere. But yeah, but back to the topic of the question. It was a very nice goal. I enjoyed it. Made me very happy. I was screaming and shouting and blowing out the whole flat because I was very happy. But yeah, Bosh.
Yeah, so we will speak about Mario Lemina. I'm very happy you mentioned that in a later segment. But I can see Cam's been itching to speak about this second goal, so I'm going to let him get his shackles off now.
Right, this is my star boy. I'm in love with Rodrigo Gomez. I think he is brilliant. Like Sami touched upon, I think the passion, the drive, the work rate he brings to the side when he's on the pitch is there plain for all to see. I think his work rate is just phenomenal. I think we need a lot more characters like him in that lineup and in that squad in general. I think people who want to play for this club, want to die for this badge, that's exactly what we need more of. And we haven't had enough of this season, especially, I would say. I remember saying during our podcast for Fulham how we instantly picked up on that and how hard he's willing to work for the team to win back possession, to create chances. And it's something we wanted to see more of, but a certain PE teacher who was our previous manager couldn't seem to see eye to eye with all of the fans. But we've saw it last week. Well, not last week, sorry, against Leicester. And we've seen it today. Rodrigo Gomez, I just think he's brilliant. I'm going to make a very bold claim, and I think he has more potential than Pedro Neto ever did. I think he could be a top player for this club, and I think if we develop him correctly, that he will be one of our best players we've ever had. I really think that because of his physical attributes combined with the drive he has, his work ethic, I really think he could go to the top. But to get to the goal itself, I'm getting distracted in my fandom of Rodrigo Gomez right now. A great defence splitting pass from João Gomez into Guedes, who then plays a very nice back heel 1-2 link up with Rodrigo Gomez, who, may I just add, has two defenders on him before he gets to take this shot, but a really deft touch with his right foot to create the space. A really great natural instinct there from him, and then a brilliant finish as well, right in front of the away support to mine and Jacob's delight. We were all very happy with that goal, and from that point we thought we were going to coast the rest of the game, really. And while we largely did the first half, the goals didn't really come after that, but I think we could have got a lot more. As we'll touch on later when we get to the second half, Rodrigo was unlucky not to have another one. But Jacob, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, so Rodrigo Gomez for me is a breath of fresh air. I think we've probably just got another clip receipt of Cameron there for a very bold shout. But I don't think he's miles off it there, Cam. I think we're nowhere near the final product of Rodrigo Gomez, and he's already a clearly very talented footballer who gives it his all for this club. And as long as he doesn't lose that kind of drive and momentum, but he wants to be here, he wants to play for this club. I also think another reason making Rodrigo such a fan favourite is he just seems like such a likeable, like, little lad. He's just always giving it loads to, his girlfriend there every game. And I mean, we all need a girl like her because she absolutely adores that bloke. You can tell his number one fan, the first one he picks out every time. And that just adds to him being a likeable bloke who we are willing on.
Well, the women like her in this generation, eh?
Well, Sami said there.
To be fair, she's always there cheering him on. You can only imagine the lengths that goes to when you have a support unit like that around you, and I think you can really see how that contributes to his ethic.
I think he's one that's really connected to the fans already, and just will even further that in the next few years. But we could have honestly been 3 or 4 up going into half-time interval. No disrespect to Bristol City, I thought they've been nice before I go on to their bitter. I thought their ground was really nice. Clearly, a Premier League built ground, a very nice fan park. Quite unique in the fact that they let us go back outside during half time. The Guinness bar they had outside, which not many away grounds actually do. And I quite like that. I think they're very hospitable. But we didn't go into half time 3 or 4 up. Scott Twine with a trademark him free kick, really. A lot of people, though, blaming Sam Johnson for it. Personally, I blame the young lad sat behind me and Cameron because he goes, he's going to sky this. Just to me and Cameron turn around in unison saying, he's going to score. And then next thing, he stuck it top corner. I do think Johnson can do better, to be fair. He's gone with his hands like this, way too far out, which even if he gets to save it, it's not going to be strong enough to get it out with hands like that. Obviously, I'm not a goalkeeper coach, but that seems logical to me. Cam, what were your thoughts?
I have to agree. It was nice to turn around to that young lad and say, I told you so, but it wasn't too nice to concede the goal. I do think Jose Sarr saves that, which is outrageous to say in some regard, because it's an excellent save. No, I'm saying I think Jose Sarr saves it over John Stone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think, well, obviously, Scott Twine, he's a player everyone, if you watch EFL as a whole, you know the quality of. Free kicks are like penalties for that guy. He has undoubted quality. It didn't quite work out for him at Burnley, but it's nice to see him playing good football again now at Bristol. But yeah, great free kick from him. John Stone, I don't think is necessarily to blame. I think the free kick is utterly sublime. We had a perfect view in the away end, and all the Wolves fans took their hats off, really. Great goal. However, Hwang really shouldn't be giving away that free kick. It was a silly foul to give away by the end of the half. About to go into half time, 2-0 up. It's a very different half time team talk when you can see that goal right on the brink of half time. And I don't think he really should have given that away. And I don't think that was Hwang's worst moment of the game. But we'll touch on that in the second half. But yeah, John Stone, he goes, like you said, I'm not a goalkeeper either, Jacob, but I don't think you should go with the two-handed approach. Jose Sarr, I do think says that. He normally goes for the full extension, like one-handed stretching save, and he's got a strong hand. And Jose Sarr seems to do well with those shots into the top and bottom corners. And I do think that's a weakness I've seen in a lot of John Stone's games in comparison. Usually I pinpoint John Stone, I think he's very weak getting down into the bottom corners, but Jose Sarr, he's very good at stretching himself across the goal and tipping those shots over. But at the end of the day, it's a ridiculous free kick, and he probably would have scored it anyway, let's be honest.
Yeah, there is that, but I also saw a few people, saying that it was preventable. Personally, we'll get on. I've got a lot of things to say about Hwang in the second half. But for me at the time, and it didn't really show on the replays, it didn't really look like a foul from where we were. It looked like a bit of a shoulder to shoulder, quite soft. But Sammy, what were your thoughts on Scott Twine's free kick goal against us?
Yeah, obviously seeing it on the replay. I don't know. See, the thing is, we always have these minor differences every week because obviously you guys go to the games and then sometimes I go, but sometimes I don't. But then yeah, just seeing it on the replay, it was a foul. It was a clumsy challenge from Hwang. I don't know, end of the, I just want Hwang gone. I really just want Hwang gone. I think his time now is just gone at Wolves. I just want him out of my club, respectfully. Yeah, love the bloke, but come on, man, you got to do better than that. But yeah, with linking back to Scott Twine, like Cam said, obviously I don't know that much about Scott Twine or, in fact, most of any other Championship clubs, but that's because I don't follow them. I follow the Wolves. But yeah, it was a perfectly executed free kick. Realistically, I don't think Johnson's at fault as much. Just tweaking back on what you said, Cam, obviously hands as well. He did have his hands out. It was easily preventable, but it's the game. You never know what's going to happen. You never know. But yeah, it was an beautiful free kick. It went to the back of the net, and that's just something we can't really argue or complain about. It's just it's a good goal. It's a good set piece goal. So you're just gonna have to get on with it at the end. But yeah, it was a lovely goal from Scott Twine.
Yeah, it was, and it was right on half time, which would have obviously changed both managers' team thoughts. And the second half, Wolves came out. It was a lot slower by Wolves, though honestly, leading to a bit of frustration in that away end. But I think frustration only came because of how fast we started. It was probably in hindsight a wise move by Pereira, seeing as Bristol City didn't really have a clear-cut chance. Well, when 8-0, he wasn't trying to put the ball in the back of his own net in that second half. But we did have some chances, and some players did a better job of their chances than others. Rodrigo Gomez showing some really good strength to get around his man, and now he hitting the post. Sarabia with a really good strike from the edge of the box, hitting the post. But there was two massive chances missed by a certain man who we know as Bangi Jan. Oh my life! I mean, the one's bad enough. Start of the half. There's one way he must be 3 or 4 yards away from goal, and he put it in Cardiff. It's so far over. It's awful. Pam, how do you sum up that man's second half chances?
Honestly, Hwang, it was just a terrible game from him Saturday, if I'm honest. I think to touch upon something in the first goal, Hwang was open to Zhao for a pass in, and Zhao took a look at Hwang, probably thought to himself, "Now you're going to screw this up," and then he puts the cross in for Ait-Nouri's goal. And I think that really summed up. I think that really summed up how Hwang's game went, really, because he was just terrible. There were a lot of times where I think he could have played in a better pass, and he played to the wrong option or just didn't pass at all and got tackled. But the two misses, like you said, I really thought they were awful. Both of them going high over the bar into row Z. I really just think you have to do better. At the end of the day, you're a Premier League striker. You're a winger, whatever you think you are, Hwang Hee-chan. You need to be better at it. You really need to start finishing your dinner, because you don't at the moment. And there's been a lot of games like that. We've said Hwang needs to get better at scoring his goals, and he just hasn't upped his conversion rate. I think during Hwang's early seasons at Wolves, like last year and the year before, that was one of his best attributes, really. Hwang wouldn't get many chances in a game, and his conversion rate was exceptional. And that was almost why you warranted keeping him on the pitch over others. But no, he just doesn't do that anymore. He gets a lot of chances now, and he doesn't seem to put any of them away. And you have your good games like Spurs away, where he scored a great set piece routine, I have to say. But yeah, he's just not good enough for me. And I'm really confused about why he wasn't here.
I just want to say before I pass on to Sami that I think we all know the reason Hwang was still here.
Yeah.
Not going to start a conspiracy or anything, but it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. I would like to have seen someone like a Carlos Forbes start over Hwang Hee-chan. I don't know if you agree, Sami, because I don't think Hwang Hee-chan adds that extra bit that Carlos Forbes maybe would have.
Yeah, obviously, I genuinely think I'm at a point now where Hwang's time at the club is done. You know, realistically, without that Tottenham goal when we played him, you know, the guys only had, what was it, only one other goal so far this season. You know, I mean, I can't really fault him that much, because you got to see, look at the attackers that we have at the club already. You know, I understand Pereira wants to give everyone a chance, but for Hwang, I don't know. I don't think he's hitting the same as he did last season. You know, when obviously when scoring goals, obviously against Newcastle to secure that equaliser last season, and obviously. Was it last season? Yeah, yeah. And obviously, you know, he was helping out with so many key important goals last season. And then now we're just seeing him, and he's not really hitting the same. Like, I see him play, and I'm actually frustrated at myself whenever he touches the ball. You know, this is how much anger I've got in me for Hwang Hee-chan. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, I do wish to see him leave this window. Obviously, you know, we've got to see it as we've got so many other attackers. You know, like you said, Jacob, we had Carlos Forbes, who was just sat on the bench the whole game. You know, he didn't even come on. And obviously, we got Guedes, Larson, Cunha, Rodrigo Gomez. You know, you got to see all these other attackers that we have, and I just feel like they'd do a better, you know, job than Hwang. So I feel like, for me personally, Hwang's time at the club is done. But yeah, that's just how I feel about him, mate.
Yeah, so I feel like Cam made a good point of that was his strong point, his finish. He's never been one good at carrying the ball, anything else really. It's just been really good finish. So you take that away from him, what does he really have to offer? But nothing negatively, we did get through. The fourth round draw took place last night. We drew Blackburn away, which to me is quite a nice cup tie. They'll allocate us quite a lot. You know, big club, traditionally Blackburn, don't get the game they once did, and one that we will deem as winnable. Sami, were you happy with Blackburn away in the draw?
I was, yeah. I didn't. I will be honest with you, mate. I didn't actually see the draw until you told me, and then I checked your message, and I was like, "Oh, we got Blackburn, yay!" But no, obviously ex-Premier League club Blackburn. You know, I don't know, they're doing not that bad so far in the Championship.
They're pushing for playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, there was only, I heard the commentator saying there's only, when we were playing Bristol, there's only 11 spaces technically between us and Bristol. You know, 11 spaces so far. Obviously, if you're including like Championship and like that, yeah. So, and to obviously secure just a 2-1 victory, I don't know how it will look against Blackburn, but obviously it's close to us, so hopefully we'll be going to the game and we'll be seeing it. And hopefully, I'd say prediction wise, I'm reckoning a 3-1 Wolves win. 3-1.
Yeah, I'm not going to be brave enough to pass the prediction yet because it's a
Ooh.
couple of weeks away. So
Yeah.
go. I'm not going to put my neck on the line just yet, but I respect you for doing so. Cam, your thoughts? Blackburn away in fourth round.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that's an easy draw at all. I don't think there's many easy draws in the cup when you're playing against a championship team anymore. But I'm not gonna put my neck on the line either. I think it's far too soon to make a prediction. We could have any number of injuries or suspensions before then in that time, or even new signings. Fingers crossed. But let's be honest, Jeff's not pulling out his wallet, is he? I think surprisingly, there's a lot of Blackburn fans who are actually really confident for this game. I was having a look through Blackburn's social media to like see the draw, because I also, like Sami, I didn't catch the draw. I just found out the results. But yeah, a lot of Blackburn fans were seemingly quite confident. A lot of complaints saying they wish they got a bigger club. Have some respect. We've been in the Prem 6 years. I don't think Blackburn do anything relevant anymore. What was the last thing you did? Win a Premier League under Alan Shearer? How long ago was that?
Josh Brownhill put a Burnley flag on their corner flag the other week.
I saw that.
That's quite relevant.
Oh yeah, I saw something. Isn't it like something like 11 years since they last beat their rivals Burnley? Pipe down. We beat West Brom last year. Anyway,
we had a similar track record to that before that.
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the present. We beat West Brom 2-0 last year. When did you last beat Burnley? 11 years ago? I think you need to know where you're at, Blackburn. A Premier League with Alan Shearer as your striker before he went to Newcastle, where he's famous for. Just pipe down. I think your fans need to have some respect. A Premier League club coming to your ground and they're going to knock you out the cup. Okay, no, I'm getting clipped for that because this is outrageous. A Blackburn fan's going to find this when they beat us, and I'm going to be a laughing stock. But
this is definitely going on TikTok, mate.
Seems like Cam has already been rattled by the Blackburn Massive.
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't happy with them.
Cam did cut out there, which might be for the best. Just to lighten the mood a bit, I'm going to ask a question of you guys. Last time we played Blackburn was actually in the 16-17 season at Molineux in a really entertaining 0-0 draw. But that's not the game I want to bring up. Obviously, the game is at Ewood Park when we play them. We drew 1-1 last time we were at Ewood Park. The question I have for you, who was Wolves manager that day? Any of you remember? This game was on Sky Sports, by the way. I don't know if either you can remember, but any guesses, please shout them out.
Paul Lambert?
Not Paul Lambert.
Walter Zenga?
Not Walter Zenga.
I'm not thinking the wrong season. 16-17.
No.
What was that?
I'm gonna get like cancelled here, but I was thinking of Nuno.
No. Way too soon. Cancelled. Kenny Jackett. I'm missing someone obvious here, aren't I? Just get cut to the chase.
I'm going to give you a clue. This manager has just left the job in the last week.
I haven't really been looking.
Lopetegui? No.
What? Sami, 16-17. That was like 2 years ago.
I'll reveal the answer to you guys, and you'll yourselves. The answer was Rob Edwards.
Oh. What? I didn't think about the interims. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was during his two-game stint where we lost to Derby and drew.
That's such a trick question. That.
Yeah, that was so stinky, mate. That was an interim.
I just thought it was a nice little bit of trivia. Both of you.
Hey, that was a trick question, but Sami, no excuses for Nuno and Lopetegui as your answers. He said 16-17. Funny little fact, my first ever Wolves match was Wolves Blackburn at Molineux. I think it was a 3-1 win with Kevin Doyle scoring, my favourite player as a youth.
It's funny you say that, because my first ever game, I found out the other day, was against Stoke in the Premier League. Kevin Doyle scored an own goal. So. But it is January. It is the transfer window. So we've got some rumours. More out than ins, it seems, at the moment, to be honest. I'm just going to read out a few to you, and you can decide which one you want to pick up on. Saturday, Pablo Sarabia to Celta Vigo was reported. A few sources saying that might be on the cards. The main one being almost ushered out the club, it seems, at the moment, is Mario Lemina, left out the squad again on Saturday due to illness. But apparently Pereira has told him he needs to make a decision, with Saudi Arabia knocking on the door, and now Galatasaray. As we mentioned Galatasaray, I was on Facebook yesterday and I saw he was linked to a player. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, guy called Victor Osterman. Apparently he's quite good. And we are also linked to Moroccan wingo Zakaria Abu Klau, which I don't know if I've mispronounced that, but Cam, which one do you want to speak upon?
Well, first of all, I wish Victor would come to us, but let's be honest, that is never happening. I don't know what kind of fantasy football. I don't know what FM save you've been looking at, but yeah. I think Lamina, I'm loving the no nonsense stuff from Vitor regarding this. He's really telling him it's stay or go, make up your mind. And I think we haven't had enough of that from some managers in the past. You never want a player who's on the bridge. You want them either side of it. And I think it's really time for him to go. We were expecting him to go to Al Shabab very recently. I'm not sure if that's just delayed or it's not going to materialise, but Galatasaray fans, since he joined us, they've been in the Wolves comments begging with their come to Galatasaray, as you see on many players. Yeah, please take him, to be honest. But yeah, Abu Khalal, I don't know how many of you remember him at the World Cup for Morocco, but I think he's a very good player. He's technically very good, very fast. I think he has a bit more to do on end product. However, he is a player I've watched before and I can speak about, so I think he'd be great. And Romain Saiss, put in a good word for him in the national team, say Wolves is a move for you. But yeah, I'd be happy to see that. But I'm also not sure if a winger's the position we need to be strengthening in unless someone goes. And I know there were rumours earlier in the window of Hwang perhaps going to West Ham. They were sniffing around him. Again, please take him. I still don't know why we never accepted that 30 million offer in the summer from Marseille. But again, we wouldn't have spent any of it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Sarabia leaving either. I think he's a player who's our highest earner until Cunha signs his new contract. Sarabia is still our highest earner at the club, earning 95 grand a week. That is outrageous. I wouldn't even care if he left on a free contract termination, because the amount of money we spend on his wages could be put into two other players with our wage structure essentially. And I'm not sure why he's getting that sort of money when he's not a player who makes an impact, except for the last 2 minutes of a Spurs game at home last season. So yeah, I'm not too happy. A lot of these outgoings I wouldn't mind, but you have to question where we're bringing the players in to replace them from.
Yeah, so that Hwang Chan rejected offer never looked worse than it does at the moment, to be honest. After seeing his football in the past couple of months, he'd probably be the biggest criminal in that front three, and that's saying something. If he went to Marseille. Sami, I'm going to give the floor to you. Obviously, mentioned a few transfer rumours within there. Anything else you've seen? Anyone else you'd like to see Wolves see? The floor is all yours.
I just can't believe you said that.
I like that little joke, to be fair, Jacob.
Well, I'll be honest. I know more about outs than I do at ins at the moment. Obviously, the only person that I recently saw that actually was coming in was Agbadu, and obviously before him it was Kevin Danso, and someone from some Colombian defender. I forgot his name. But yeah, no, I don't know why we didn't like Cam said. I don't know why we didn't accept 30 mil from Marseille for Hwang. I'll be so honest, just get Hwang and Lamina out of my club, respectfully. You know what? End of the day, even if we do sell him and we get high money for it, Jeff, she's not going to really make it worth our while, is he? No, he's not. So I just want Hwang and Lamina gone, and then I really want some of the players on the bench as well to try and obviously I want Pereira to obviously try and use a bit of his bench more. Like I've also saw that Ajax are looking at recalling Carlo Forbes back from their loan because due to lack of game time that he's been having at the club, and I really think Forbes will work so well under Pereira. But I really want some of these players that we have signed in the window to obviously make their chance. And yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a shame with Lamina. I fully agree with what you said there, Sammy. Windows are often a frustrating time for fans. We see so many players go out the door and usually not enough in. Lamina is quite sad. I do think, as frustrating as it's been this season, has much as let himself down. We must remember he has been a good servant to this club. When he came in, he was, everyone loved him. Some brilliant stuff on and off the pitch with Wolves. So I think we mustn't forget that aspect, but it has gone quite sour. Cam, I see you want to add to that.
Yeah, just a transfer rumor I forgot about really. We were going after Renato Vega a little earlier in the window, and it has been now getting reported everywhere that he is now available. However, Chelsea, having bought him for what 7 million in the summer and only really having him played a couple minutes in the Prem, most minutes in Conference League and the Cups. However, Chelsea have an immense squad size, and that's not really a flex, in my opinion. They're now trying to sell him 30 million. I think that is outrageous. And it's also not a transfer fee I see us paying for a defender. I wish, but Jeff is just not going to pull the purse strings that loosely. Another transfer rumour I saw was obviously, like Sami touched upon, Kevin Danzo. He rejected us, unfortunately. So I don't know who comes in at this current moment. I think Gerson and there was another Ecuadorian midfielder at Palmeiras who were apparently Wolves' two scouted replacements for Lamina. But this is why I'm so needing to hurry up.
Come, yeah, sorry to butt in a bit, mate.
Yeah, sorry, it cut out.
No,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, by the time we record the next podcast, can you upgrade your Wi-Fi?
Before we touch on Newcastle, I'd like to just play around with fantasy a bit and ask you if you could sign 2 or 3 players off the top of your head. Let's stay realistic. Who would you bring in this transfer window? I'm going to start with Sammy's looking like a pondering, so I'm going to start with you, Cam. I'm going to get
I'm pondering.
Right, well, I'd ideally want another number 9 to push Strand Larsen. I think Strand Larsen is a great player, but I feel like he needs a bit more pressure. That starting spot's guaranteed for him. I'm not quite sure who I'd bring in because I think realistically a lot of strikers are kind of not going to want to come to us, unfortunately. But I feel like a number 9 is a position we really need to go for. I did like the look of Renato Vega from Chelsea on a loan deal, but if that's not possible, I think we really need a different centre half, perhaps another left-sided one to not replace Totti, but have backup for him because we're really seeing how we're struggling, even with Agbadou having to play on that left-hand side against Bristol. But another position I read in centre mid. When Lamina inevitably leaves, it looks like I would like to see that Gerson from Palmeiras. I think he would fit quite nicely in Vitor's system. He's already played under him before, if I'm not mistaken. And I really think he'd do well tactically. I think he brings different attributes to our current midfield, somewhat similar to Lamina, but I think he's very much an upgrade.
Yeah, so there's been good reports about Gerson. I'm going to give you 3 names now that I'd like to see come in. I'd like a bit more of a creative midfielder who still has that bit of physical presence.
Who was that, sorry? You cut out.
So it was just someone who has that bit of a physical presence while being creative in midfield. So what I've noticed down is isn't getting much game time at Chelsea. To get him on loan, Kim Dewsbury Hall. If you could get someone like him in on loan, I don't think we would, but it's one that I'd love to see at Wolves to get him on loan until the end of the season, a bit like a Lingard to West Ham kind of deal. There's one who I picked up on my little weird Jacob watching Sporting Club de Portugal moments. Giovanni Quenda on that plays on the right hand side, right wing back position. I think he's brilliant. I first saw him play at the start of this season, only 17 years of age, but if you whispers are to be believed that Semedo won't be here next year. I think he'd be the perfect player to come in, can attack, can defend. And the last one is a centre half. Haven't got a specific name. There's one that I do like, but he's never fit, and that's an experienced head like a Victor Lindelof. I would like to see someone like that come in. I think he's solid enough, but I don't think fitness might be an issue. I can see Cam shaking his head, but I think he's a
No.
very solid Premier League footballer, and I think he's better than what we've got at the moment in that back line.
I would agree. You see, I would agree, Jacob, but he spends more time in the hospital than he does on the training pitch.
That's what I
even,
mean.
so
You'd have to keep him fit.
I don't think, and that's just not going to be possible, unfortunately. I don't think we could really make a move there. Yeah, I don't know if you lads have any names for strikers you'd like to see come in, because obviously they've got to be happy to almost play second fiddle, but I think it's quite a tough position to recruit in this kind of window.
Not Kalishi and Atjo, who have been linked with. Not him.
Yeah, I've seen reports of that. I didn't say him for that reason. It hasn't quite worked out for him going to Sevilla, and he's getting on a bit now. He's 33, I think. I'm not sure he'd be good, to be honest. Although, then again, he'd probably be better than what we have. So if it was just a straight loan till the end of the season, maybe wouldn't be against it.
That just seems winning Jose to me, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on to Sami. First of all, any strikers or any other names you've managed to come up with in these last, or even just positions?
I'll be so honest, mate. I'm not listening to the players that you guys are saying. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I'm like, what? Like Lindelof? Come on, buddy.
Lindelof would do if you could keep Lindelof fit.
But you can't.
If you could keep him fit, if you could keep him fit, then fair enough. But I swear that guy's been there since David Cameron was running for England. Like, you know, I generally like the guy's been there for yonks.
And he's never been fit.
Yeah, he's never been fit as well. But nah, players, I'm not going to name any players because I'll be honest. But positions, I'd say I don't actually see. I really do not know because I'd say obviously, you know, I wouldn't mind having another defender in, like another strong defender who's also able to, you know, speak for the back line as well as Agbadu, and obviously Dawson as well when he's on the pitch, like, you know, seeing it. But I'd say obviously I'd like to see another centre half come back in. Ideally, you know. It's a bit of a tricky one because you got to see the players that we have already, and if you know if we do provide, you know, the good training to him, like we touched upon earlier about Rodrigo Gomez, you know, if we develop him well, he could be, you know, probably one of the best in the league. But obviously, if we develop anyone and you know really well, they could also become a top. You just got to see how it is like from that. I don't know. I'd love to see another centre half come in, yeah, but for other positions, I don't actually think we're I want to say desperately needing in other positions. I'd say obviously I would like another right back as well. If Semedo does leave in the summer, and obviously we've only got Pedro Lima, but yeah, that's probably my only two. I'd say really, ideally.
Yeah, so interesting conversation there. I'm gonna pass over the heavy lifting to Cam now as we move on towards the Newcastle game. I know there's a lot of stuff he'd like to say about it, so Cam, you take the wheel, buddy. All yours.
Yeah, let's get into it. One thing I just wanted to touch on, I just searched up transfer rumours while we were on about it. I'm just seeing some little rumours of apparently we're one of the clubs interested in Wataru Endo from Liverpool, who might go on loan or a transfer because he's unhappy with his game time situation at Anfield. He's not going to get back into that team. I wouldn't necessarily be against that, thinking about if he was to replace Lamina.
He was decent last season, wasn't he? But
I think he'd do a nice short-term gap fill, though, if Lamina were to leave.
Is he better than what we've got in Andre and Gomez? No.
No, I don't think he starts.
He'd have the same issue here as having at Liverpool, wouldn't he? So.
However, he probably at least gets subbed on here. No one's cracking that Liverpool midfield at the moment. But anyway, yeah, to get to the point, Newcastle away, tough one at St James's, but we've got up next. Alexander Isak. Wow, what form he's in. He could score in the 8th consecutive game in the league. Perhaps if he does, looking at that Jamie Vardy record. I know I've seen a few people talk about if he could do that. I like Vardy having that record, though. I wouldn't quite like to see Isak break it.
I don't want him to have it.
Well,
I
you
want that.
don't like Jamie Vardy.
Yeah,
I
you
just
hate him.
like that Leicester story, regardless of Jamie Vardy
do
and his
I.
feelings for us.
But he's a bit of an
Anyway,
house.
yeah. But Jacob Murphy as well, scintillating form. Wow, he was a player everyone thought was going to leave Newcastle at one point. Even my friends who were Newcastle fans thought he was done. And then suddenly last season, he just woke up out of nowhere and became unreal. And he's kind of carried it on this season. He's very much a form player, but it's that time of season for him. He's been notching in the goals and assists, feeding Isaac on a plate, and Sandro Tonali as well. Since he's now come back from his betting ban, he has just been incredible, having been moved into that number 6 role. And that Newcastle midfield is immense, so strong and so composed with Guimaraes, Joel Linton and Sandro Tonali. But some fun little stats, well, not so fun for Wolves, may I add, but some stats nevertheless for Newcastle away. Newcastle have won 4 of their last 6 against us, having failed to win any of the previous 12. That was, well, obviously when we came up, we were really battering them most times. But yeah, it's changed in recent years. Newcastle are looking to do their first league double over Wolves since, guess what year?
Uh,
Last year.
2002, 2003.
Oh wait, what? Wait, hang on, I don't know the
Their,
question.
their last Prem, like, top division double.
The year we went down under Mick McCarthy.
We're looking back a long time. I was really surprised when I saw this.
03, 04.
Is this before we were born?
Way before.
Oh mate, how the hell am I meant to know that?
Right.
Like,
they're looking for their first league double over Wolves since 1905-06.
Oh
yeah,
I
was.
Today, Bob.
100 years ago.
Yeah, I was well shocked by that. I was really surprised to hear that was the last time they'd done a league double over us, but apparently so. We've lost each of our last 3 away at St. James's and not kept a clean sheet in our last 9 games there. So with our defensive troubles this season and their attacks excellent form, I don't think we really need to act like we're going to keep a clean sheet there. We all know Anthony Gordon, Isaac and Murphy have been incredible recently. I'm interested to hear your score predictions, because one of the stats I've got here are Newcastle Wolves has the highest draw rate of any Premier League fixture with 58% and 14 draws. So, yeah, I'm interested to see. I personally think we'll lose this one 3-1. That's my estimate. I think we will give them a good game, but yeah, I'm just not confident. They are absolutely flying at the minute, even beating Arsenal away, hammering Ipswich away. It's just not looking good for whoever comes against Newcastle in recent weeks. Jacob, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I immediately thought when you said about them not winning, what was it, 6 before the last 6 whatever.
No, they've won four of their last 6 against us. Before that, it was like 11 games or something.
Yeah, I was going to say the context is needed that like Steve Bruce and Nuno were going band for band in like stinkers for about 4 years, just 1-1 draw after 1-1 draw after 1-1 draw. Almost became a meme online about like the Wolves, Newcastle fans all just saying it's going to end 1-1. But yeah, Newcastle arguably the most informed team in Europe at the minute, absolutely flying in terms of results. Arsenal, brilliant result. That front 3, like you say, Isaac, Gordon, Murphy, Jacob Murphy, that guy, I remember True Geordie back in Mike Ashley days, ranted about this fella, telling me that he has, the technical ability of a sponge, and he just looks unreal now. He's just, the guy just he's using his pace, he's using his power, he can finish, and he's going to be a real thorn in our side. As you mentioned, Tonali coming back from that betting ban looks like he hasn't been away. He's just been absolutely immense. One player I've loved since he's gone into midfield has been Joe Linton. I think his work rate, he's a bit of an S-house, but he gets himself about really well. Always dangerous on the attack. But as dangerous as Newcastle have been, I watched them against Spurs a few weeks ago, against the highly rotated Spurs side, might I add, due to injuries and illness. and they did look beatable. Spurs had a fair few chances where, if the likes of Brennan Johnson and Son were in better form in front of goal, you might think they would have got something out of that game. But saying that, I don't see us getting anything from this game. I feel like Monday night against Chelsea, we have more chance of getting something actually than on the road against Newcastle. I feel 100%. Like it's going to be a 3-1 Newcastle. I think we nick a goal, but I feel like it's going to be quite an easy night for Newcastle. I don't see us really troubling them in the form they're in at the minute, and that's nothing against us. It's how good they are, to be honest. I'll pass on to Sami now and see if he agrees.
Yeah, obviously Newcastle doing so well in the Prem at the moment. Obviously they've got the likes of, as you guys mentioned, Joe Linton and Guimaraes, and obviously that front three of Murphy, Isaac and Gordon. I really cannot see us winning this. I really cannot. But yeah, like you said, Jacob, just echoing off what you was just saying, it's nothing against us. It's generally with the Premier League is the most difficult league in the world, and everyone knows this. And we've got teams now, like, who would ever, if you told me last season that Nottingham Forest would be in Champions League position right now, I'd be like, mate, shush. But you're seeing teams now that are actually improving themselves. Like, you've got likes of Bournemouth now who are in that top 10, as well as Forest, who were last season, they were both, bottom of the table, below 10th. I can't speak, below top 10. But yeah, hopefully you guys aren't going to the away game, obviously travelling up the stairs at St James's Park. But no, I think it's going to be the same as September. I generally think a 2-1 Newcastle win. I don't know about 3. It could be a 3-1, but yeah, I'm not expecting to win it. If we do win though, I will be over the moon. But if we don't, it's just one of them though, innit? Like, you can't really do much, can you?
Yeah, well, even we weren't stupid enough to buy a ticket to go all the way to Newcastle on a Wednesday night. No doubt it'll be the coldest stadium in England as well.
Oh yeah, will.
Weather and how stupidly high up you are. Cam, we got a score prediction off you?
3-1 Newcastle. I'm going to say Isaac twice, and I'm going to say Murphy with 1, and then I'm going to say Cunha gets our goal.
Oh yeah, Cunha's back, isn't he?
I didn't think
that. Yeah, he's back. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That gives us a bit of hope, but still not much. He's against a very good back line as well. We got lad. So
Fabian Shaw, what a player! I really rate him.
Mate, he just gets better and better each season.
Well, we were the recipient of one of his seasonally worldies. I say seasonally, he scores about 5 of them a season. He's that good, but I think Botman's also back for them now as well from his long-term injury over the past few games. So it just really furthers the chances of us not getting anything from this game. I don't think they've really got their first choice team out now, and that's why they're just steamrolling everyone.
Yeah, but hopefully we are proven wrong. I think that just about does it for today. We covered quite a lot. Is there anything either of you would like to add and say to our viewers before we go?
No. Not really. I also think that Chelsea is a game we will have a better chance of getting something out of compared to this Newcastle one.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I hope you're correct, seeing as my Chelsea tickets came through the door the other day, so fingers crossed for that one. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, boys, for joining me as always. Been a pleasure. I'm very happy to be back after a few weeks off. We have been the South Bank Podcast. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
This is KIC Radio.